No, your math isn't wrong. There's only three of us. Welcome to True Story, bro. Oh yeah, and Badoo too. Can't forget that. We're back here again for another rousing episode of True Story Bros. We got your boys in here. You know who I am. You know who they are. Yes, we're in the Chris verse, and not only are we in the Chris verse, we're also in the presence of a great guest, a great writer. Um, you know what? Black Caesar, I'm gonna let you take it away. I want you to introduce this person that we have today, if you would please.
No problem. All right, this person is very special to me, mostly because I'm related to him. This is my cousin, Mr. Jordan Wells, who is a very well accomplished writer. He has 8 books, I believe, under his belt. So he's really taking the world by storm, and and also like on a side note, he's also coming up in the acting world. Getting gigs. He's trying to get his foot in the door, but there's nothing he really can't accomplish or set his mind to. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing what kind of what kind of info he's going to lay on us in terms of any upcoming projects and ventures he's doing. And without further ado, I would like to proudly introduce my cuz, my main man, the brains, Jordan Wells.
Cool. Welcome to the show, Jordan. How you doing today? Oh, are you muted by accident? Is he muted?
He might be muted.
Okay, let's get him back. Technical difficulties. Turn up his snare. Where's my snare? Jordan, can you hear us? Let's see.
Are you muted? Are you mute? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's muted.
He's muted. Let's send him a message real quick.
Yeah, let me just. Yeah.
You're muted. Cool. Good.
Have a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning of the show.
Of course. This is real life shit. Of course it's gonna happen.
Of course. Hey man, it's part of technical life.
Exactly. Hello? Jordan, was that you?
Everything all right?
He was good a second ago, and then I heard somebody talking like a robot. Yeah. While we're getting that ready, Big Chris, you think you could get like a sound effect that's like like Jordan? Can we get that? And we can use that just in case. If you think that'll work.
That'll take some time.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Now
Perfect. Yeah.
I can hear you. Now, okay. There you go.
Now you can hear
I think
me?
the headphones were perfectly. I think the headphones were trying to treat you with a disservice, and that's not cool.
Word.
So yes, Jordan Wells. There we go. How you doing, Jordan? Sound effect that's like like Jordan. We can use that just in case. If you think that'll work.
How about now? Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Perfectly.
Yeah. Perfectly. Yeah. You're
Okay,
good.
now we good? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right, great.
Treat you with a disservice.
That's not cool. Yeah, sorry for the delay, but yeah, thank you.
Jordan Wells. There we go. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Sock, do me a favor while he's going, because we're hearing the crosstalk from your audio. Press mute until you're ready to put a question. Otherwise, we're gonna keep on hearing your microphone. Perfect. All right. Anybody else hearing that? Hello. All right, we're good. All right, cool. So Jordan, tell us about yourself. Tell us about all these grand works you're in currently.
Woo!
Pop the Molly, I'm sweating.
This is a great episode today, guys.
You know it. Off to a great start. Oh.
Okay, let's see what's going on here.
Oh, he just switched to his phone. My man. He said the computer is giving me nothing but problems.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
There we go.
There you go. Much better.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
It's all good.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, my name is Jordan Wells. I'm just here to pretty much talk about my book. It's called Logged Off: My Journey of Escaping the Social Media World. Actually, you can see the cover right there. That's the cover of the book, and
Nice.
This is the book right here. Yeah. So it basically all started back in 2018. The day specifically is August 25th, 2018. I woke up around 5 o'clock in the morning and I had like this terrible case of anxiety. I had a panic attack, basically. And I didn't know where it started from. I thought it was just like my anxiety was just jacking up from something and I didn't know what it was. So I immediately just went down to my basement and just got on my treadmill. And I had to walk it off and just like to calm myself down, calm my nerves. And while I was doing that, I was just wondering, where was this all coming from? Where was this anxiety and this panic attack where was this coming from? And then I realized that very same night, I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning, scrolling up down my phone, looking at Instagram. And I realized then that I had a problem. I had a social media addiction. And I was just constantly looking at my phone, like every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes, just checking my phone. And pretty much that night, I was just up until 3 o'clock in the morning, scrolling up and down, looking at other people's lives and just looking at what other people were doing. And I was seeking validation. And that's when it hit me that I was very addicted to social media and just checking my phone. I was addicted to my smartphone. And that very same day, I pretty much just cold turkey deleted all of my social media accounts. I deleted Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. I deleted that maybe a few weeks later because I wanted to make one last post on my birthday to just tell people that, I'm logging off of social media and, I'm not coming back on it. And, about if you fast forward like a year after that, I was pretty much just in like a completely different frame of mind, it's a completely different mentality because I wasn't checking my phone anymore. I was off of it for about a year, and when that year, when I pretty much went through that year, that's when I decided to write a book about my story. Just to write about my experiences being on social media from 16 all the way to 28. I first started. You guys remember MySpace, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, that's where it all started for me when I was 16 years old, and I was just on social media ever since, and just nonstop for 12 years. And I had no idea just how much it was affecting me mentally. And I was on it since I was a kid. So gradually I was being programmed by these machines, and I didn't even know it. Like I didn't know that I was addicted to social media until I got off of social media, and then I began to reflect. So, and it was just I really didn't realize the problem that I had with me personally, and just seeking validation from random strangers that I would just never even know.
Wow. That's great because I've always like told people like sometimes it's good to get like a small break, even if it's a small break from social media, because social media overall affects our mental health on a daily basis. So that's definitely interesting, and I would love to get a chance to read your book, because that seems fascinating to have to actually feel that you were essentially withdrawing yourself from not having social media,
Yeah.
and you have built up this anxiety, and you completely just dealt with getting rid of social media as a whole, just to go through life and see exactly what's going on. So that's interesting, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it really, um, and the thing is, it was crazy because when I was on it, I was posting constantly. I was posting a whole bunch of selfies, like 3 to 5 selfies a day, just to get the reaction from people and just to seek validation and just confirmation. I wanted to see how many people would hit that like button and just like my post, or maybe it may be a selfie or a quote that I found or that I created, and I would just constantly just be posting whenever I was bored, or if I saw something and I felt like I needed to say something about it, I'll just make a post about it and just, wait for the likes to come in. It was just like a really sickening mentality. It was just really sickening and childish, very ignorant and immature. And it was a point where I just didn't care. It was like I was losing my self-worth and my self-love. I was really, really becoming like a kind of like a avatar, a bot, pretty much. I wasn't really acting like a human being, and it was just crazy how these platforms is really controlling me on a daily basis, and it's amazing how it affects your mood swings, like how it affects your mood. Like, for example, I put in my book, like if let's say you open up your Instagram and you scroll up and down for 5 seconds and you see a friend who got engaged. So then you hit double tap on your screen, you like it, and you say, wow, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. 5 seconds later, you scroll up and you see another friend whose mother passed away.
Mm.
And now you're sad. You went from happy to sad. So now you double tap and you say, wow, I'm so sorry, my condolences. And then 5 seconds after that, you see a meme and then you laughing. So in 15 seconds, you went from happy to sad to laughing.
Mm.
People be on social media for hours. And in an hour, you're talking about 3,600 seconds every hour. And it's just like, can you imagine what's going on in your brain when you're seeing all these different posts, all these different emotions and reactions day in, day out, and this is all this information just pouring in your mind to the point where you don't even know who the hell you are anymore, or you don't even focus on who you are. You just lost in the sauce. You just lost yourself in all of this internet world, and you kind of like lose focus in what you want to do and what you want to achieve in your life, because you're so motivated to see what other people are doing in their lives.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's very the way you put it is actually very correct. It's like you go through a range of emotions and you just end up wandering in like this virtual space, like you said. And it's like sometimes, like especially like Facebook. I know it's like an older platform, but
Yeah.
we grew up on it, so we're still there. And my thing is now I'm kind of like not shocked, but I'd say like accustomed to seeing anytime I see like a picture of somebody, I always get scared because with just life, not just with things with like COVID and everything.
Hmm.
We see people like passing away and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anytime I see like a big picture, like somebody put up a photo of somebody, I get scared for a second because I think
Yeah.
we lost another one. And then it's like, oh no, his birthday's tomorrow. We're gonna meet at Buffalo
Yeah.
Wild Wings, and I'm like, oh my god, don't do that to me. And it's like
Oh
the
man.
the programming is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then that happens too. It's like every time you see a picture of a celebrity, and you have a whole bunch of people posting the same picture, you thinking something happened to them or they passed away, and it was a good tragedy.
Mm.
And it just sends your shock. It sends you like your anxiety skyrocketing, and it's not like because it's like, even if you're not a fan of that celebrity, but you know that celebrity is like very famous, you don't want nothing happening to them, like something tragic. But it's just, that's what these platforms do. They just make people so just jittery and just so anxious, and it's like, and it's sad because in today's world we're living in, it's like, it's almost like people can't wait to say RIP to somebody or put RIP next to their name, just to get that attention, just to get those clicks, and just to, you know, talk about it and stuff like that. And it's like every day you see something where somebody is just getting, well, I mean, obviously people pass away every day, but it's just, it's like almost people can't wait to put RIP next to somebody's name, you know? It's just such a different culture now with these platforms. And just the today, like I also sub teach sometimes, and when I look at the teenagers and just how addicted they are to their phones and, you know, TikTok and Instagram, it's just, and they're in the hallways doing these dances for TikTok, or they're in the bathroom doing dances or whatever. And I just feel kind of bad for them because they was born into this social media world where they don't know nothing different. You know, like I remember certain moments of my childhood when, before there was these phones and social media. So it was a childhood. I was a kid. You know, I played like with like those action figures and all that stuff. But nowadays these kids, they have phones and tablets where they're just glued to the screen. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, honestly, it's like a real narcissistic complex with like people nowadays because, you know, it's like I get it, like in that kind of age, sure, you know, they want to be expressive and they want to showcase what they can do, but there are moments where it can just be way too much. Even with grown ass celebrities nowadays, it's like, okay, I think you want to put your face up there just to put it up there, but I think, but there's like a thin line between like, you know, evaluation and I feel networking. Like, I mean, it's different when you're trying to put yourself out there like that, because I mean, the attention you want to seek is something, you know, would hope that to a bigger venture, like maybe a career, you know, maybe you'll get noticed in that. But then some people just do it for the sake of like, yeah, I need attention today. It's been 2 minutes. I need another selfie. But yeah, that's how I see it.
And
really, I blame Tom, honestly, from MySpace. I blame Tom. It's all his fault.
Our boy Redbeard had threw in the chat. He said, "Yeah, it makes sense because he's talking about." He mentioned back in like this had to be like 10 years ago when there was a prank that the comedian Sinbad had died, and then legit,
Right.
I saw that dude like in the mall. I'm like, "Yo, they said you were dead." He's like, "Everybody keep thinking I'm dead. I ain't dead." and it's stuff like that. Like I remember. With that being said, I remember I was chilling with Man Has No Nickname, and we were driving around Jersey City on a mission, and all of a sudden he was all like, "Yo, Chadwick Boseman died," and at first I didn't believe it because I remember they said Sinbad died and he wasn't dead, so I was like, "Man, refresh the page." Like I don't believe that, and then a couple of like minutes later, he's like, "Nah, it's legit. He did." I'm like, "Damn."
And, I remember that day. That was we sat in the car for a bit, like, damn, that's crazy. And a lot of that comes down to, you know, people seeking validation, like you were saying before. Like, it's funny you say you blamed MySpace. I feel like Facebook is the blame for that, because Facebook was the first to come up with the like button.
That's true.
So, you know, everyone's like posting up either a phrase or something that they did for the day, and, you know, they're getting 40, 50, 60 likes. Now we have Instagram where, you know, you can have 600-700, you know, likes off of a picture that you posted, a selfie or whatever the case may be. And I get it too, because I even find sometimes where it's like a rush to post something up. I posted up a video the other day and it was just getting like after like after like for like, I think a couple hours straight. I think it got like 70, 80 likes. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like my phone is just going off. So it's almost like a rush. So you get addicted to that and you continue to post, causing you to have, you know, some type of anxiety when you're seeing that you're not getting any type of likes or anything like that, because you're like, wait a minute, now I'm still posting consistently, but no one's liking my stuff. What's going on?
Yeah. It's a slot machine. That's what it is. It's what it does is like basically when you post something, they use the same tactics like gambling, like the slot machine. So when you post something and you get a hit, you get a lot of likes, it releases the thing. I'm sure you heard of it. It's called dopamine release, where same thing that happens when you get like people take drugs, they get high with that sugar intake. But it's like a slot machine where if you post something and you kind of, I guess you can go viral, or you get a bunch of likes. It's like basically like hitting the jackpot, where you want more and you want more, you want more, and you get that rush, you get that anxiety feeling, and you get that rush where you got to do it again, and you got to find something else. Like, what's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing I need to post? Like, let's say if you get a new car and you get a whole bunch of likes, people love your car and all this stuff. Now it's like, okay, now I need a new house. I need something to level up on the car. I need something to level up on the house. And it just, you, after a while, you just realize that you're now living your life for the validation of other people.
Yep.
Like, if you go on vacation and you post all these pictures on vacation, and now you're basically just, it's like you're trying to seek that confirmation, or that it's like, hey, look at me, guys, I'm living life too. I'm at the beach. Here I am. You see me on the video. You see me on the beach. And it's like the numbers, I feel they really do affect people. When you look at, because in my book there's a chapter 5 is called "What's Your Number," and in that chapter is basically talks about just how people really need the views, the number of views, the number of likes, the number of subscribers and followers, to feel that validation. Even if they say something that's totally off the line, but if they was to get enough retweets off of it or enough likes, then they will then validate their opinion, because a lot of other people validate it for them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if they say something that is like very disrespectful, but they get a lot of attention, a lot of likes, then they're gonna like, well, I stand by it because look at all these likes I got, look at all this feedback I got, even if it is something very, very rude and disrespectful. And that's what's happening in today's world. So many videos and campaigns and all these posts that's saying very derogative, disrespectful things to other people's cultures. And as long as it's getting retweeted, as long as it's getting attention and likes, people just ride along with it. But if it's backlashes, then obviously they're going to try to take it down. But it's already too late. People just screenshot them and everything, and they repost them, and then we see people's true colors.
It's true. It's like
Absolutely.
a virtual high fives, and when you get a
Yeah.
high five and you feel good, you're like, yeah, I want another one, and then you're like, so it's basically like, yeah, just like the slot machine feeling. Like, what else can I do to keep getting these high fives and being like, I'm the man or I'm the woman or whatever the case may be. So I definitely feel that shit. I definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, definitely. And even like when I tried to go back, like I remember I reactivated my Instagram and Facebook to try to, when I was putting out all these books and trying to promote them, it was like I instantly regretted it, because it was like it took me back into the past. Faces I haven't seen in so long, just people I haven't seen or heard from in so long, and it just kind of like put me back to the same addiction. It really, really was like a drug. Social media, it really became like a drug where I had to like wing it off. I had to get off of it and like detox. And I really just felt like I was stuck. And that's why in the title of my book, the key word is escaping. I had to escape the social media world, because it doesn't just let you go away scot-free.
No.
I've made a reference in the book that if I felt like I was in the Truman Show, where I was, everything that was happening, I was just being followed around. I was being watched constantly, and it was like I was in this dome, this bubble, and I was playing this fake person, this fake character that I wasn't, that I just wasn't in real life, and I was living vicariously through that person, to the point where I didn't even care who the real me was. I just really wanted to keep up the image that I created on social media, because people loved that person. People loved what I had to say on that. People loved the selfies because there was like perfect angles and all those different things. And it was so crazy. When I look back at it now, it's like I was literally taking 30 to 50 pictures just to get one selfie. That's
Oh,
how
wow.
bad it was. That's how addicted I was. I was just taking all these different pictures from different angles, just to, and then I would edit the picture just to get one picture to post on social media. And then there was even also times where I would post pictures of my dinner plate, and I would literally spend like 15 minutes to get the right picture. And by the time I start to eat, my food is already cold. Just so I can get a post. It's just a picture of my food. It was sickening. It was so sickening.
I,
Yeah.
I see those people all the time. Like, oh, look at this. Like, I've done it sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
I usually do it with like with the intent of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm eating like a bigger sandwich or something like that, I'm like, look at this sandwich, like stuff like that. But other
Yeah.
people, I do see them like angle it. They got a director's slate and everything. The lighting's
Yeah.
perfect. It's like a whole production just to take a snapshot of food that you're gonna eat. But like you said, then it gets cold and it's like, what am I doing? What did I do this all for?
And I even look at it like this, where let's say you after you do all of that and then you post the meal, and then let's say you only get 2 likes on that post. I guarantee you that the food is not going to taste as good just because you got those 2 likes, because the value of that food, that plate, went down. So now you're not even going to enjoy the food because you got 2 likes. And that's what it means about like what's your number. Like when you look at those numbers of validation, if it's very low, then it really changes how you feel about yourself or how you feel about whatever it is that you post.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that food's gonna taste good to me because I don't give a fuck about no likes. I was like, this burger is
It's
still
it's
legit.
it's all just to target. It's all just to target your emotions.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because even at one point, Facebook did have a dislike button, and not a lot of people remember that.
I do.
And I'd be like, yeah, the Facebook had a dislike button. So the fact that people were getting their feelings hurt because people were hitting dislike on a post more than they were hitting like. Now it's like a big issue. So you don't even have the option of doing that anymore.
Mm.
I think now there's like an option to like put like a thumbs down, like if you're putting like an emoji or something. But the like is where it's at. That's where you're gonna see your posts, excel, and then more people, or it'll reach out to more people. So you don't have that dislike button anymore, and that's on anything, because even Instagram, it's a like button. You give someone a heart, and
Yeah.
you're there for days. You're gonna be on someone's main page for a while just to see, again, seek validation. But as for seeking validation, not more seeking validation, how would you deal with uh for say reviews of the book, since you have put out more books in the past? How would you deal with reviews? Are you keen to like looking them up and seeing if they're good or bad? Like, how would you react to them?
Well, I really don't even look at reviews because I don't write the books for reviews. I more so just like, I mean, obviously, somebody told me before, like if you do something that everybody loves, you did something wrong. So for me, it's not really. I don't really. I try not to pay attention to the reviews, good, bad, or ugly. I just more so. I know when I look on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, I see like they may have some stars up and stuff like that. But as of today, it's the same thing like with validation. With the social media, I try not to look at reviews. I kind of just focus on the content that I put in the book. And if people like it, I love it, then that's great. If they don't, then that's fine too. But I really don't even try to pay attention to the reviews. I'm more so just like to be the artist and be the writer and put them out there and then let the readers read.
Okay.
Respectful, very respectful.
Now, going back to what you said about when you took your hiatus from social media and you came back, even just to promote the book, you said you felt the waves of anxiety return. Like, oh man, now I remember why I left this.
Yeah.
Being that you are a writer and an aspiring actor as well, or you have acted. I remember you were telling me about certain things. Being that it's so important to promoting the artist, is it something that you'd probably like get somebody else to like run your social media, someone that isn't as affected with like the trials and tribulations of actual the social media game?
Yeah, since I've been off of it, it has been a challenge to like get myself out there and get my work out there. But I have been reaching out to other people, and I've been going on like their YouTube channels as well,
Mm-hmm.
just like I'm doing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I share my books, I share my work, and I market and promote them on their channels. And sometimes I do sponsorships on
Mm-hmm.
people's channels, and I send signed copies to people. And other times it's a lot of word to mouth, and that's how I
Okay.
network. I go on set, and or I go at the school, and I talk with people, and I tell them, I share with them my books, and I have cards, and that works at times too, because some people, they just buy it right there on the spot when I talk to them. So that's always a great thing. But I think more so because I'm an independent author. Like I started my own publishing company where I
Mm-hmm.
own the rights and I own the publishing to all my books. So
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
it's very independent, but I like that because everything is under my name, and then all the royalties come directly to me. So it's a great thing. But obviously, since I'm my own independent author, the sales are not like in the thousands just yet. But
Mm-hmm.
gradually they will be eventually. But so far so good. They've sold hundreds at this point, and they've sold
Okay.
all throughout the U.S. and in Canada, overseas in the UK, and then recently, not too long ago, overseas in Australia. So
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
it's touched three continents, and I'm
Okay.
not on social media. So
That's good. That's good.
I mean, it's
There you
so
go.
far so good. I can't complain.
It's definitely something that can still happen because, like you said, word of mouth. Word of mouth is still one of the most promising advertising tools we have, and it
Yeah.
still works. I remember even a podcast I listened to called Self Helpless. One of the hosts, she eventually had like several businesses, and she was like, you know what? I need a break from social media, much like how you did. And
Hmm.
eventually, she tried to find a way to promote her business without the use of social media until eventually she canceled her Instagram, then her TikTok, then eventually she went to no Facebook, and then eventually she actually now helps people who want to, do the same thing, like wean themselves off of social media. Because some people feel that, especially like older businesses, they felt that we need to get on the train because this is where it's going, and if we don't want to lose business, we have to. But
Yeah.
but like you said, word of mouth is a powerful tool, so they just have to find out other tools in order to do it. It's just that even though it's like the most accessible, doesn't mean it's the only game in town.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah. And it's just I find it to this day. I find it so amazing that our society really makes it. It seems it makes us feel obligated that we have to have these apps on the phone. Like that's all these are. These are apps.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that our humanity cannot survive unless we have a profile on these apps? And I feel like if the day they try to make social media like mandate or like mandatory that we have to have social media, I mean, is just going to make things so much more worse
Oh
in
yeah.
our society because like if you, as you see on social media, you have all these campaigns and all these fake pages that are being created to cause more chaos and more hatred and negativity to different cultures and just different countries. And people are just acting so crazy, ugly with each other, and it's just really a mentally an unhealthy atmosphere that's being created. And I just was researching like how Facebook is doing like this new meta company now, where they're doing like the virtual reality, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's so much. They're taking away so much of reality and just like really literally creating a matrix right before our eyes. And that was another thing too. Like when I got off of social media for like a few weeks in the beginning, and I went to the city, um, it really felt like I was an alien in a different planet because all I saw when I was walking around was just people with their heads down, looking at their phones, looking at social media. And I wasn't on social media at that time. I was just, my phone was off, it was in my pocket, and I'm just looking around, and it's just like everybody around me is walking around with their heads down, looking at their phone. Like
Mm-hmm.
I really, it actually scared me because I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. Like I stepped out of that world and went back into reality, and then I'm just, my head is up looking at my surroundings, and I'm just seeing all these people all over the place hypnotized by their phone. And that was actually very scary. That first week when I got off of social media, that was scary. When I went into the city and I saw that, like I really felt like I was like alone on this planet.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because like I normally try to take some time away from just the everyday life of the city, and I'll take some time and I'll go out to the country in North Carolina and I'll just hang out, and there none of that is going on. You know, there's people driving around, there's, you know, sports, camping, there's all this stuff that's going on in front of you. You're enjoying nature to the point where I don't even need to have my phone on me. You know, I leave my phone in my pocket or I leave it at the house, and we're just driving around for most of the day. And then when I come back, I just see people glued to their phones, and it's just like there's more out there than just, you know, being in your phone 24/7. With that being said, would you ever consider? I mean, I'm not sure if you have, but would you ever consider returning to social media, like for networking purposes?
No, I'm done.
You're completely done with that.
Yeah,
That's
I'm done. Yeah, because it's like if I, God willing, I live to be 125 years old, I'm never going back on social media. Like I don't care if I miss out on book sales and stuff like that. I'll find other alternatives. But I've pretty much had my years on social media to the point where there's nothing that there's nothing positive that, or nothing of value that it can bring to my life at this point. So I'm kind of like I'm kind of just like I've crossed the finish line with social media, and I've seen it all that I need to see, and I'm just done.
I feel you.
wow.
That makes sense. Like, for instance, like, because I do like film, photography, all that stuff, and I don't promote myself as much because a lot of the times I'm just living my life, and people like sometimes see my work and like, why haven't you posted this? And it's like in the beginning, like it's like some like gospel shit. No, but in the beginning when Instagram first came out, it was more artsy and stuff like that. And I'm like, all
Yeah,
right, cool. Let me put up some of my work. And then I figured out you could only do it one at a time. And I'm like, oh, the hell with that, because I had so much backlog of stuff that I'm like, I want to put stuff up, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't care to be sitting on my phone for like what hours in order to do it. The most I'll ever be on my phone is if I'm editing like a photo or something of that nature. And but sometimes I don't even post them. What I'll do is if anybody needs to see copies of my work, I have them all in like Google Photos albums, and I'll just send it to them that way. And then people are like, your stuff is so good, why don't you post it? And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, keep telling them I'm like the worst poster. I'm like, it's like Ja Rule after 50 Cent outed him. I'm just like the worst poster, and I just I just don't do it enough, and like I need to. But it's like it was to the point that like you said, you find yourself in those rabbit holes in social media. You scroll once, twice, next thing you know, an hour later, like, what have I done? I've literally just wasted or sacrificed an hour for
yeah,
what? And it's like sometimes you just want to catch up. The instant accessibility to people you haven't seen in a while is a great thing. You catch up with people. Sometimes you don't have the time, but if you, just like with any tool, if you use it accordingly, you're fine. The problem is the way they keep increasing the need for people to use it. Like, yo, use it for this. It's like, yeah, but what about these headphones? You were talking about these headphones, and especially they're always trying to sell you something. It's
yeah,
like it's like hustle man on every corner, but selling you everything that you don't need. But you be like, oh, but but like I said, the reason why I mentioned headphones because I'm a headphone junkie. I love music, and I literally have headphones on my wall for literally every day of the week because sometimes I just like to immerse myself in sound. But when you say that, especially with a smartphone, because it's become this giant Rosetta Stone for our life, you get ads after ads for everything. And it's like, man, I need a lawnmower. Next thing you know, lawnmower pops up on your screen, and you're like, and
yeah.
it's just that constant rabbit hole of
You
taking you to
went
places you don't want to be.
you want to hear
Oh
something
yeah.
crazy? Do you remember that app Pokemon Go?
Oh yeah,
Oh, of
So
course. Yeah.
so when I researched that, and what they do is so they would put, like, let's say for example, they'll put a Pokemon inside of a Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll go to that Dunkin' Donuts to search for that Pokemon, and the Pokemon will be right there in the Dunkin' Donuts, and then you will catch it.
Mm-hmm.
Right after that, they'll put an ad for Dunkin' Donuts for, like, if you buy 2 donuts, you get one half off. So they strategically do that
Oh
where
yeah.
they put a Pokemon in a business, and then once you catch the Pokemon, then they'll hit you with an ad for that company. When I researched that, I was just like, wow, that was just crazy to
That's
hear of
strategic.
that.
That's strategic
Yeah,
marketing right there. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
no doubt, absolutely.
yeah.
Sneaky,
But,
but
and
effective.
and the thing is, I mean, it's not to say that there aren't some amazing things that can happen with social media. Like some things are real. Just to be fair, like, there's people who met uh like their fiancés or wives or husbands on through social media, like some
Mm-hmm.
best friends. Is not to say that it cannot make a good connection with people. I mean, just like, look at, here we are talking through social, kind of like a social media, YouTube, but
Exactly.
it's I just feel that, like, it's kind of like social media is a blessing and a curse, but the curse just has more followers, if that makes any sense. It's
Mhm.
just kind of like
Yeah.
the
Oh,
bad stuff
yeah.
is being promoted and pushed more than the good stuff. It's just really, I just think it's bad for the children. I'm a little
Oh yeah,
concerned about
definitely.
how these kids are going to be using social media as in the next generation, when they're just, like, really born into it. And I just feel that they're pretty much being taken away from their innocence and their naivety and just moral values and integrity, and they're just losing a lot of their childhood through these apps, because they just want to post something on social media rather than just being out in the park and, like, playing and stuff. Not that there isn't any of that, but I'm just really concerned. And then, like, when the pandemic happened, it was like everybody was just hooked on social media. Like, they was at home and that they was just, like, on social media looking at stuff. So it was like, right when I released my book, that's when everything shut down. So it was kind of like nobody was trying to read that at that point.
Hmm.
You know what? Actually, yeah, I was actually looking it up, and it says that it had a release date of March 9th, and that's pretty much when everybody was getting shut down.
Yeah.
We had just gotten back from going to Wizard World Comic Con in Cleveland
Mhm.
on the 9th,
Cleveland.
and during all that mess going on over there, we get back, and we all had to stay home, basically stay home, and now everyone's completely glued to their phones because everyone's indoors not doing anything. So it's definitely a change of perspective, and I would definitely understand why nobody would read that unless someone is fond of completely reading books. But that's definitely something that I would like to look into myself. um I know you've mentioned a little bit of research that you've done. So, like, what kind of research do you normally do, and how long how long do you do your research before getting ready to start writing your book?
Um. Well, it depends on what I'm writing. So, like, I like my poetry. Is the poetry books kind of starts off like how just the words just come to my mind. Like, I'll see everything that I want to write before I write it down, and a lot of times it's just what I know. And like, sometimes I may see something outside in the real world, and I'll just absorb it, and then I'll take that and apply it to whatever it is I want to write, whatever story I want to tell. And a lot of the stuff is just throughout, like, either music I've listened to or movies I've watched or things that I've looked up and when I was in college. And a lot of my writing came from uh, when I went to the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey to study acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a little trouble before when I was just like when I was initially introduced to Shakespeare's plays. And but my teachers were pretty much patient with me, and they taught me thoroughly his language and just like the dialogue and everything. to the point where I just love Shakespeare, and that's where I became so inspired to just write poetry. And I had a African American high school history teacher who got me into writing poetry, but the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey just took me to a whole nother level. And that's when I wrote about 70, 80 poems in one summer when I was at the Shakespeare Theater. And I just held on to them for like 10 years. And when right after I put out my book Logged Off, I went ahead and put out those poems. And that's when I came out with this book. It's Mirrors and Reflections. This is the second book. It was a poetry collection. This is the book with all the poetry that I wrote when I was in college and some in high school. And then since the pandemic kept going, I went out, I think it was like 2 months after Mirrors and Reflections, I put out my third book, which was The Healing. And then after The Healing, I put out the fourth one, which is A Lonely Rose. And then I just kept going, and then I put out my debut novel, which is called The Ring Pack. And I'm actually going to be writing a sequel to that after I finish my second novel. And then recently in October, I put out my sixth book, which is called It's Fun Being a Human Being. So it's like once I got off of social media, my whole mentality, my mind just like rewarded me with all this work, all these stories. It's like my brain just took a different turn, and I just started focusing on writing and telling stories and all this stuff. And I to be honest with you, I rarely play video games now. I used to really be into video games, but I think once I got off of my phone a little bit, and then it just kind of detoxed me to the point where I rarely play video games. I rarely watch television. I just can't really focus like that on the television screen, like for no more than like an hour or so. Maybe every so often I may binge watch a television show here and there, but it's like now it's like I keep my heads in the books. Like I'm either reading or writing, or I just go out into the world and I just enjoy life, like reality. It's like such a life-changing experience since I've been off of the social media.
You get to see what the outside work feels like.
Yeah.
Exactly. Boy, shout outs to our boy Redbeard. He said it's kind of like alcohol. It can be fun and social. You'll feel good, but if you give it moderate use, you'll be all right. But if not, you can easily see your life going down the drain if you're not careful. So, but yeah, that's definitely something to definitely think about as far as like the dangers of social media. And what it could do to you.
It is a drug, that's for sure. It is a drug.
That's true.
Yeah. And I it really, when I was on it was, like I said, I grew up on social media, but the sad thing was I felt like I was becoming a boy again. Like I was handling things like a child, like just like with friendships or relationships with people. And I really felt like I was handling things so immaturely, and just I was having temper tantrums and arguing with people through the comments. And then when I look back at it now, it's just like, why would I do something like that? That wasn't me. That was like completely taking me out of my character, to the point where I didn't even, I would never say something like that to somebody in their face. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never say something so disrespectful or just say that to anybody. Like why would I comment that?
Yeah.
And then I would see some certain comments that people would send to me, and it was just like, wow. And that's when I realized, like, this internet stuff is such a circus, just full of clowns, sometimes just animals, and it's straight demons that they have no type of heart, no consciousness of right and wrong, good and evil. That like they're just really, really just losing all humanity within them, and they say the most terrible things, and then they consider it freedom of speech. And to me personally, is really not, a lot of what's being said is not freedom of speech, it's just freedom of ignorance. Where people are just being so ignorant with a lot of the stuff that they say, and they don't even think twice about what they post or what they tweet about. It's just, and it causes so much conflict. And then there's two things that happen with the social media. It's like, in today's world, being a victim is the new superhero. You know, if you can cry victim on social media, you can become a millionaire, or you can become famous, you know, or infamous, you know. And then you know, we're living in a time where if you want to start a war with somebody, all you have to simply, like, you don't even need a weapon. All you just need to have is an opinion.
Yep.
Just to start a war. If you want to start a war with a country, all you need is an opinion that's different than theirs.
That's true. A big problem with now is a lot of people are addicted to being right, but
Yeah.
it's like you should be like, my thing is, I love perspective. I love it so much. I'd rather gain perspective than to be right. Now, if it's a subject that I'm well versed in, of course you better come correct, because
Yeah.
it's like the OK Corral. You can't come in here with a paperclip and beat a 6-shooter. That's not real life. But yeah, like, even growing up, like, because I'm pretty sure we're like in similar age range, if I'm guessing correctly.
Yeah, I'm 32.
32, yeah. I'm 30, about to be 37. Good God. Like, back in the day, we had people who talk shit over the phone, and they were telephone tough guys. But at least you know where they were, and you could find them if they really wanted to talk what they needed to talk about. But now we got these keyboard warriors, and like you said, they're using freedom of speech. I'm like, yeah, but there's consequences. There's consequences to freedom of speech. Like, you could say something, but it's like, even like when I hear like on other podcasts, like, celebrities will be like, oh, people will just say like the most hurtful stuff, and they'll be like, yo, bro, is that how you really feel about me? And they'll be like, oh my God, I didn't realize you really like listen to this. I apologize, I'm a big fan. And I'm like, but then what's the whole purpose of saying all that negative bullshit? Like, what is that? Like, I guess they're throwing stones at glass houses, thinking like nobody lives there, but it's like, bro, this is my house. Granted, you can see everything, but you still gotta respect my house. Like, what are you doing?
For real.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, and then a lot of times people tend to think that, you know, they're never going to run into these people in real life. You know, they'll never see them, and for the most part, yeah, they may never have it, but you just never know. You know, you may actually run into these people that they're talking crazy to online, on the internet. And you know, it's just really sad because again, like I said, it brings you back to being a boy or being a girl again. It makes you immature, and this is like a real adult is not going to really be on here, you know, having these crazy conversations, these crazy debates with other people that they don't even know about politics, about religion, about you know, just money, and you know, the voting, all that stuff. It's just, and there's so many like people following the follower, you know, or leading the blind, and all this stuff through these campaigns and these pages and stuff like that. And you know, a lot of times when people will show me stuff, it'll be on Facebook about like this like a new something about COVID, you know, saying like this can cure COVID and stuff like that. Like burning, like if you burn lemon water or something like that, you can burn the COVID out your nose. And they saw it on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and it's like I really don't want to laugh right in their face, but it's just like they have no idea, you know, what these machines are capable of. They have no idea what they're doing, and they believe so much of what they see from Facebook, but they're just so misinformed.
Oh yeah,
They're just
definitely.
so lost, you know, so
Oh,
misinformed.
And it'd
You
be
know,
so easy to throw a monkey wrench in it by saying, do this, and then it's like people get sick, or whatever the case may be, and it's like, well, I found out about this on social media, and I'm like, well, you should have done your research.
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy with the because there's so much information on the internet too, and it's hard to really, you know, filter out what is real and what's the BS. You know, what's the nonsense, and people try to make nonsense. They try to make sense out of nonsense, and you can't.
Okay.
You can't make any sense out of nonsense. You know, and then you have all these conspiracy theorists, you know, that come on and make these videos on YouTube, And they're saying like just like with that whole Pizzagate crate, that scandal and all that stuff. And then there was actually a guy who was armed and went to the Pizzagate, and he thought that he was going to save somebody, save a whole bunch of children, and it was a false fake news thing. That was all conspiracy theories. But it's like it's scary how quick people are just able to believe everything. They're able to believe all these stories and all these these articles that they see, and it's really hard to have a decent conversation. I feel like an honest conversation without like starting like a argument with somebody. Like sometimes it's like you really don't want to have a debate. You want to just have a conversation where you don't want to agree or disagree with anything. Just you would want to hear people out. But nowadays it's very hard to find that common like conversation. Where you actually learn something from people.
Exactly. Gain that perspective.
Yeah.
Because nowadays people are so triggered for pretty much anything that goes on and what's said or what's being viewed, because everyone has their own opinion, which you're able to have your own opinion, but for something like that, I mean, like, why would you want to get into an argument for something that you could just simply have a simple conversation about? But for the most part, everyone again is triggered, and then that's when we have to just start jumping into people being canceled and things like that, especially when you're in the public eye. So it's all jumbled into one whole thing. So if you are a social influencer, and something is being said about you or something is being said about what you've done, some people can back you up, and some people can even completely shit on what you've done as a person, and that ends up making, like, again, a whole thing of you being canceled. Look at the whole thing with Travis Scott. I mean, he had his show. It's his show, but security was the ones that fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And now this guy's being canceled. He's being thrown off of tours and Coachella and all this stuff. And they're discontinuing his items that he got selling in retail stores and shit like that. Like, it makes no sense. But I mean, I understand why. I understand why people are upset about it. But at the end of the day, it's like, come on, bro. Like, keep your opinion to yourself. You can let it out, but there's no reason to try to cancel someone for something as stupid as that.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays it's sorry.
No. Go first. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, nowadays it's really easy to just end your career. I mean, all they have to do is backtrack on like one statement from Twitter, and then that's it. You're done. It's not before. Now you really gotta watch what the hell you say. I mean, it's such a sensitive world out there. I mean, hell, just one phrase, one word, and they will take everything away from you. Your whole status, done.
Yeah, that's what happened with Kevin Hart when he made those homophobic tweets from like 10 years, almost 10 years ago, and then they reached the surface, and then they just crucified him in the media, and to the point where he just had to step away from hosting the Oscars. And it's like that's the thing about, you have to be very, very careful what you say on the internet now, because especially if you do a video, because they record it all over the place, all over the world, and they will hold on to it. It's like it's like they're the FBI, and they have all these all these articles and videos about you that they keep on file. And let's say somebody blows up, and everything's going well for them, and then something they tweeted or a video they made 15 years ago hits the surface, and then boom, everything just goes tumbling down. Their whole career is just sabotage, ruined.
Correct.
And that's just like the dangers of these platforms now. Is just like it doesn't forget anything you say. Anything you say or show on social media will be used against you.
Yeah,
exactly.
social media keeps receipts.
That's right.
That's I've always told people that like social media keeps receipts. So I mean, and
That's a good one.
even you, stated that you would see something that you said a couple years ago or a while ago, and you were like, that was me. I didn't think I would say something like that. And I've even
Yeah.
caught myself where, Facebook tends to remind you what you said a few
Yep.
years ago.
Yep.
So like it'll
Wow.
say, hey, you had conversations with this person or these few people 4 years ago, and then it'll show you everything that you said on this day. So it'll say December 15th, 5 years ago, you said, and then dot dot dot, whatever it is you said, and you're like, damn, I said that many years ago. That's crazy. I don't even think about that anymore.
Yeah, but we're also different. We were also different people then. Like we grow. Like
Yeah.
to basically say like, are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Like, I mean, it
Yeah.
really varies.
Yeah, but you also have to take into consideration that people's views change about certain things from
Exactly.
then and now. So right now, I mean, I I could have said something that was extremely homophobic, but 10 years ago, it was okay to say something like
It
that
was the norm. Yeah.
because there's not, it wasn't that big of a deal. And now, people will read it now and be like, well, he said something that was extremely homophobic. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
Cancel him. And then at that point, everyone's trying to, attack me for whatever I said. And I'm like, yeah, but it's taken out of context.
True.
Then versus now is completely different. So if I
Oh,
said
yeah.
something, I could say PlayStation sucks 10 years ago and PlayStation sucks now, and people would be like, yeah, cool. But then back then they'll be like, nah, that's crazy. What do you mean PlayStation sucks? So
Right.
it's two different time periods.
It's true. The question is, did they have games at the time? Because if they didn't at that point, then of course they suck.
All right, they freaking like they got a time cop their asses and shit. It's ridiculous.
But yeah, but like Jordan, like this was extremely great that we had you on the program. I look forward to seeing more of your works. I look forward to seeing you in films if you're getting back into the acting, which I think you are.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
no
Oh, anytime,
Not a
cuz.
problem.
We got you.
And I am definitely looking forward to reading your book, sir.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll just show it again. It's Logged Off, my journey of escaping the social media world. You can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever you can get a book.
Gotcha. Do you have it in audiobooks?
I actually do. That's the only
cool.
book I have in audio. Yeah, it's on iTunes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's on iTunes.
Dope. Because I'm a big audiobook guy. Because I'm always building and doing stuff. So if I can hear it and then do stuff, it just follows.
Yeah,
me
yeah. That's the only book I have in audiobook. Is you can find that on iTunes. Just type in my name, type in Logged Off, my journey of escaping the social media world. You find it.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
As you know, we get first dibs. How we do.
Yeah.
The family discount.
There you go. Exactly.
All right. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Nice having
Thanks
you
for
on.
coming,
Take it
cuz.
easy.
Really appreciate it.
Peace out. But yeah, that was a good talk with Jordan Wells, author and actor and cousin of Black Caesar. So yeah, that was
So
dope.
proud of that boy.
Yeah, he's
He's
always
going.
working. Anytime,
Yeah.
anytime I would see him at the holiday party, he's always working on something. I'm like, yo, Jordan, what you up to? He's like, yeah, and he'll start listing out things. I'm like, that's what's up. I'm like, this man works a lot. That's good.
That's good, and that definitely gives you a different perspective on social media. So I've taken breaks away from it, and I can tell you that shit is hard, because you're
Yes.
used to scrolling on your phone all day. You know what I'm saying? So like me, I fidget a lot, and fidget spinners don't fucking do it for me. So I'll be on my phone all day. So it's but it is again nice to have some time away from it, whether it's a few days, a week or two. But to completely cut off social media completely, that's that's definitely hard for a lot of people, and I
It is.
commend this man for doing so. And I definitely want to, get like all the information that he's given, for having completely get rid of social media from his life. So definitely get ready to read that book ASAP.
Definitely.
Show.
For sure. So before we head out for the eve, we're definitely gonna showcase, and probably also, being that we're talking about social media, we're also gonna put up our nominees for everybody. You guessed it, the most important word of the year, the Eddie Winslow Bad Friend Award. That's right. Thank you. Man has no nickname. So, we gonna go down the list. I'm gonna give it a proper like graphic so we can post on social media. Um, I want you to go through our nominees. We got our boy right here from the Eternals. You know him as Rob Stark, but in the Eternals, he was one of the scummiest of the scum. What a bad friend. Your boy Icarus from the Eternals. That's number one. Boom, boom, boom. And next on the list, who we got? Oh, yes. It's not just James Franco being James Franco. Oh, no. It's James Franco being Harry Osborn from the Spider-Man Sam Raimi trilogy. Just being like a total douchebag. You know what he did.
That
And
scumbag.
That scumbag. Look at that wink. What a jerk face. And on to our next jerk face. Our boy Bueller, Mr. Bueller, Ferris Bueller himself, has entered the nominees of the Eddie Winslow Bad Friend Award. And yeah, his adventures in fuckery, leave someone to be desired as far as like how good of a friend he actually was. So he's on this list, and we thank him for that. And we got one more. Then we got one more person. You know this motherfucker. No, it's not your boy the Daywalker. Nah, it's your boy Carlton. It's your boy Carlton from True Story with Kevin Hart, which has been constantly praised and raved about by our boy Man Has No Nickname. So we'll definitely do our homework and figure out the absolute scumbaggery of this individual that embodies suckdom.
All I'm saying is it is truly scumbaggery. And yes, so anybody who has not watched it, please watch it. It's I think it's only like 6 or 7 episodes. They're about an hour long each, but man, does shit get crazy within the first episode and all the way towards the end. And that ending is just the icing on the cake. And he's a motherfucker for what he did.
Well, you know what they go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say, just a quick question: is he his brother's keeper? I had to do that at least once.
I was gonna say, so what you said, the ending's a motherfucker. I said that's why motherfuckers always like the ice skate up hills. Another Wesley reference.
Damn, on the rebound.
Had to do it. So yeah, that's gonna be up there. I'm gonna go work on the graphics so we put it on the interwebs. Once again, thank you for having the time to enjoy time with your boys on the True Story Bro podcast. If you like the content that we give you, we comment all the time. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment on Passenger 57. That's right, Redbeard. Always bet on black. See, it's a Wesley Sniper-thon. we going out this bitch. Follow us on our social medias that we have here on Instagram. You see it right there. It's official True Story Bro. Follow us on the other platforms as the Twitter at official_TSBP. Feel free to check out our Twitch at twitch.tv official True Story Bro. Don't forget to check out Roundhouse's Twitch. He's coming back. You waited for this man. He's going to be here. Go to twitch.tv. Here, Roundhouse 84. Our boy will be back like the anointed one. He's good. Don't forget to check out Redbeard's TikTok. If he still favors it or if it's fallen by the wayside, we won't know. Tune in next time. Redbeard 2124. There you go. And don't forget to check out our boy Echo Ninja on Saturday Night Nightmares, which is our horror viewing show. You can see him.
Me as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I was getting to you too. I introduced the lady as well. With his fiance Crimson Adams and our boy Man Has No Nickname as our horror advisors on the streets to let you know what's going down on all things horror. And
Yeah, I think right now we're doing uh holiday horror movies. So holiday horror movies are up right now. I think
nice.
the most recent one was Black Christmas.
Oh, Black Christmas. Yeah, I think I
Yeah,
saw
so
the posting of that. So yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
that's what's up. I thought it was just a black movie with Chris Brown in it, but yeah, that's probably something different. Um, and that's at Saturday Night Nightmares, which I'm glad he forgot the dashes and the slashes and the exclamation points that he had in there before, but that's good. And don't forget to quench your motherfucking thirst on some Sam Jackson shit for going to Wild Bill Soda. So go to www.drinkwildbills.com and get these fantastic beverages that you can enjoy at any con. And if you don't go to cons, you can enjoy at your very own home by going to www.drinkwildbills.com using our promo code True Story Bro. You can get 10% off of any order that you order from their website. So remember, no bull, just bills. Boom. That was a good one. You like that, right? I did that good.
Yeah, my man.
That's right. That's the stamp. That's the stamp of approval right there.
Stamp of
And
approval.
since we got no telephone, since we don't have no telephone number no more, because Echo Ninja killed it. Nah. He was like, nobody was using it. Well, you didn't fucking put it on the social media. Either way, I digress. I let go of things. Unless it's the big piece of chicken, Roundhouse, I'll never forgive you.
That story will never go away.
Never go away.
No.
I'm gonna put that on my grave. It's like, for all my homies, I love you. Roundhouse, I'll never forgive you. Big piece of chicken, rest in peace. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace out.